This water bottle looks so small in my hands. It's like when Shaq holds a normal water bottle.
Does your cock look small in your hands too?
Yeah. It's not a two-hander for sure.
Dude, it's crazy because like we haven't seen each other in.
It's been 11 years since senior year of high school.
Have we been out of high school that long?
It's been 11 years, dude. We graduated 2014.
But like, it doesn't even feel like we haven't seen each other in that long though.
It doesn't. No, but that's friendship though, man.
Mm-hmm.
Remember we used to live in West Courts?
We went way back.
Yeah, way back, 6th grade,
Dude,
with James and that other little. I was gonna say, so, yeah. Well,
We used to do some crazy shit back then though too.
yeah.
I was actually reminiscing on some older times, and I was like, dude, are all kids as like terrible human beings as we are, or is just that how kids are?
100%. I was walking out of Walmart and I saw a bunch of kids like on bikes doing wheelies. Like fucking hoodlums, dude.
They weren't doing nearly the stuff that we were doing though.
No, we were doing like, yeah, we're hoodlums.
I talked to my little siblings. One is she just turned 18, and then the other one is 12.
Delilah?
No. Delilah's 27 now.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, 27.
She's 27 years
28.
old.
She just turned 20.
Was she that close in age to us?
Mhm.
Wow.
And then I told my siblings, I was like, you guys stay at home, play video games, look into comics, do all this like nerdy shit. But dude, when we were in high school, you and I, like we were starting like Royal Rumble, like battle royals. We were fighting in the mosh pits in the lobbies,
food
of the school.
fights. Yeah,
we would like, remember a specific situation where we like blocked off roads with furniture that was like for free.
Yeah,
right there by J-Hugh.
This was before cameras, before Ring,
before anything.
Dude, we used to. I remember we used to move cars from driveways into the middle of the street. Daniel, me, Paul, Jeremy. I probably shouldn't be saying this on.
Did you guys just like break into them?
No, we just pick up the car and move it.
Oh, you guys were big as fuck.
Yeah, we were huge. Yeah. And we would move like 2-ton cars.
Daniel was like Superman back then.
Especially when he was drinking. Crazy. Absolutely insane.
So this is after high school, huh?
This was after high school. Well, no, senior year coming into high school. Or coming into college, sorry. Senior year, last year of high school.
I remember not being a part of that, like that whole atmosphere. Everybody was partying and I wasn't invited.
You were invited.
I went to a few of Soto's parties.
Yeah. Have you spoken to Jose?
Yeah. We still talk every day.
Yeah?
Not every day, but like.
You should get him on here.
I've been telling him to come on.
What does he say?
He said he's down, but he's a demon.
I know he is. He's always been. Yeah.
He just
progressed. He progressively got more demonized.
And he has not slowed down at all either. Like, have you seen his stories?
No. I think he blocked me from his stories, so I don't judge him because I don't see any of his stories. I don't see anything that goes on. Well, I still follow him. We still follow each other.
I don't think he blocked you. He just posted things on on his close friends. But anyways.
Yeah. Well, fuck you, Jose.
Yeah.
No, I still love that guy.
Yeah, I do too. But let's talk. Let's just talk about what you've been doing outside of that space. Like, let's lead up into college. All right, what's going on through college? How do you introduce yourself to that?
Into college, oh man. Well, I moved to Bakersfield about it's going to be 5 years ago here in May. And yeah, I mean, I went to the University of Concordia, played football in Montreal, absolutely loved it, had a great time, got into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like those 5 years just went by so quick. And unfortunately, I had to move back to California. It wasn't by grand design. I did not want to come back here whatsoever. But things happened my final year. COVID hit. Shit got really weird. My roommate bailed out on me. My visa was up. Didn't have a job. Not making any money. And I'm like, all right, I need to wave the white flag. Like, I think I need to go home. I think it's time to go back to California. And sure enough, had to tuck my tail in between my legs, called mommy and was like, hey, like I gotta move back to California. I don't have any money, like rent's due and I can't pay it. And she's like, well, you're always welcome to come back home. And yeah, and that's what brought me back to California, dude. It was honestly, I didn't want to do it. I was going to go back to school because I didn't finish when I was in Canada. I was a few credits short, so I needed a semester. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and finish my degree. And then I got caught up in sales. I wanted to, at least work a little bit while I was finishing school. Started working for Sunrun, and that's when shit really took off, and I started making really good money, and then I was like, dropped out of school again. I was like, yeah, no, we're not gonna finish school. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where my life's taken me.
Did you ever finish it?
No, I'm literally a few credits short.
Bro,
Legit, my aunt and my uncle aunt, I call him my uncle aunt. He's a cousin. He's like, dude, why don't you just go back and finish it? He's like, yeah, how many credits? I was like, dude, I got like 9 credits left. They're all electives. Like, I finished all my core classes. He's like, why don't you go back? And I'm like, to do what? Like, what am I gonna, just to say that I finished and I completed?
Well, no, I think the reason why you should finish is because of the new obviously the new business that we'll talk about.
Right. Yeah.
The new space. Like, I could 100% see you getting into law.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother. I wouldn't be finished until I was 40.
That's not true.
Well, I mean, I would have to take the LSATs. Right.
I just took it recently, and I did technically consider bad, but I didn't start my like educational journey realistically until like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I ended up finishing with a degree in accounting, which I don't do at all now.
Yeah.
But law was like my space, and I was like, you'll recognize that it's much more diverse and broad than you could imagine. Like the LSAT and all that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
All of that sucks. But it's only 2 years accelerated program.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I haven't really given it that much thought.
I could see you 100% being a lawyer.
Yeah.
And it would open up your definitely your financial game.
I feel like I'd be selling out. And the reason why I say that is I started this business, Pacheco Court Prep, to get people away from hiring family law attorneys. Simply because it's they don't do what's in the best interest of the child. They don't do what's in the best interest of the parent. They do what's going to keep them on retainer and keep the case open for as long as possible. So if I did become a lawyer, if I did go back to law school, I personally feel like I would be lying to myself. I would be doing a disservice to myself. If I do go back, I would finish my biology degree, and then if really wanted to get back and do my education, then I would double major in communications or business. But to go back and be an attorney, I feel like I'd be selling out.
I would disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
100%. Because from what I know so far about why you did this business, I think the only reason you would be selling out is if you were working for an attorney who has their, like, if you were working for a big corporation or like under somebody.
Right.
But there's an avenue that you can go in a way where you're already independent once you pass the bar.
Yeah.
If your goal is to truly be for the person and the people, you don't have to really charge a retainer for, the things that you would
like the services.
I would say charge an initial fee and then say, once we win your case, like, this is what I can charge you.
Yeah.
There's tons of lawyers that are sellouts. Tons of people that I know that are just like in it for the money, which is okay. I understand it. I would 100% be the biggest sellout. Yeah. But I can also understand like the divorce attorneys that are like in it just because they've been through it. Yeah. Or the family attorneys that have seen families broken up and all they want to do is they want to be the change in that space where, maybe you didn't have like a bitter taste in your mouth with an attorney you were working with. So that's why you can be the change.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, my attorney and I had a big fallout. But in all fairness, when I hired the attorney, when this whole thing shit hit the fan, I was desperate. I just felt that I needed an attorney to back me up. They were going to figure it out. And I just let them fly the plane. Mm-hmm. And that's where I screwed up. So my business isn't to replace an attorney. It's to prepare and strategize your case. So if you ever do decide to hire counsel, you're fully prepared in terms of timeline and strategy and being able to communicate that with the attorney so they know how to tailor a fight for you. Right. It's attorneys are expensive. There's a lot of, underprivileged, unfortunately, people in Bakersfield that just can't afford, $3,500 up front and then $500 a month. People have to live, people have to eat, and they get caught up in the system they don't know how to file paperwork. They don't know how to strategize. They don't even know how to dress when it comes to court. I mean,
Right.
a lot of these people, when I see them walk in, they're in a shirt and jeans, and that may seem acceptable, but it's not. It's all about optics when you walk into the courthouse, especially when you're fighting for your child. So again, I'm not the purpose of the business wasn't to replace the attorney altogether. It was to help strategize and put a case together so you can self-represent yourself in court if need be, if you don't have the money for an attorney. This business, what I do and what I provide for people, you can still take these binders, this case, the strategy, take it to the attorney so they can, provide their services for you, essentially. So yeah, that was the thought about it. That was the thought behind the business. And to be 100% transparent, when I fired my attorney, it was stressful. I had to collect all the paperwork, and I remember laying it all out in my office in my house, and I was looking at it. I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this? And I spent over 150 hours just organizing the entire case and putting it together. And then I fell in love with the process, and I'm like, man, I can do this for people. Like, I enjoy doing it. When I was done and I was looking at my exhibits, exhibit A through M, I'm like, oh man, like, why can't I do this for other people? And that's where this bright idea came from. And ironically, though, it was built for fathers. Like, I wanted to do it for dads, because in this space, mothers are usually the ones that are extremely proactive, right? They usually get on top of it. Men, unfortunately, we're a little bit like, we'll wait, little on the late.
Dumb.
We're dumb. Yes.
We're dumb. We are. I think the word is intrinsically dumb.
I like that word, intrinsically.
We kind of don't have a choice sometimes.
No, exactly.
So, and that's why I always say, like, when you get domesticated, like your the testosterone raged awareness that you have when you're a single man just goes out the window.
Yeah.
But women they've already been plotting their move for the past 6 months. When they get disconnected from it emotionally, they don't break up with you right away. So they're planning against you this entire time, and you're there like everything's good until it actually happens.
Isn't that weird though? We're so reactive. Like, men are just like go with the flow, very reactive, and then women they're 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 steps ahead.
They're snipers.
I had no clue that she was going to file a restraining order.
Well, let's actually start. Let's dive into how that all came to be, if you want to share that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly why I'm here. Like, this past year, Robert, has been hell. It has been the worst year of my life so far. And it's my fault. I don't blame anybody but myself.
Right.
I don't blame her. I understand why she did it, where she was coming from. But, I wish I would have done things differently. And it started off in 2022. We met on Tinder, and
This fucking guy.
we met on Tinder, and we slept with each other a few times, and 2023 comes around in February, and she's like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, not my baby, not my kid. I know you were sleeping with other people. I don't want nothing to do with it. Good luck. You're going to be a single mother. I'm done.
Right.
So I can laugh about it now, because, it happened. It is what it is. I wish I would have done things differently. I wish I would have taken responsibility early on and said, okay, if you believe that I'm the father, then, we should sit down and, we should get a paternity test, and I should have done things the way I should have done them from the very beginning, go to court, figure out who the dad was. But I prolonged it. So she has Aaliyah, my daughter, in August 31st. Remember, it was a Thursday. She messages me at 3:00 in the afternoon. She's like, your daughter was just born. It's like, not my kid. Yeah, not my kid, not my daughter.
But you guys had to wait, huh? Until the baby was actually born?
So we could have done the paternity test while she was pregnant. But again, I was wishy-washy. Like, dumb, just didn't want any. I was in denial, Robert. I was in denial. I did not want to have a baby like this. I didn't want to have a kid with someone that I didn't know who they were. You know, we hooked up maybe a few times, a handful of times, and she got pregnant, right? I mean, so I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it, right? Because I wanted to be married. I wanted to be in love. That didn't happen. So she has Aaliyah. 6 months go by. 5 months go by. And I get served paperwork to go to court for paternity. I show up to court and she didn't file the paperwork properly, or she didn't serve the paperwork properly. And the judge sits there and he's like, okay, do you want to waive your rights? I mean, clearly you got the paperwork. Do you want to continue on with this case? I'm like, no. And he's like, okay. And he looks there, he's like, serve the paperwork properly. And once you say the paperwork properly, then you guys can come back and whatever. I messaged her after that hearing in April of 2024. And I said, hey, and Aaliyah is 5 months at this stage. And I was like, hey, you really think I'm the father? Like, you went to I didn't think she was going to take it to the extent of taking me to court. No clue. No idea. So when I sat in front of the judge, I'm like, okay, this is real. We went and got a private paternity test, and I found out I was the father 2 weeks later. And from that moment on, I was in full dad mode.
Yeah.
I took full responsibility. I said, there's no hiding it. There's no more beating around the bush. And I saw, or I at least attempted to see Aaliyah every single day. Every single day she would allow me to see her for a couple hours. We would meet at Starbucks. We would meet at restaurants, and we would sit there in public, and I would, try to bond with Aaliyah. Be completely honest with you, as a man, as a father, it's very different than a mother's love. I didn't automatically love my daughter. I wasn't thrilled about it. I'm like, damn it, they got me, like they got my ass. And I wasn't thrilled, man. So it took some time for me to really fall in love with her. And when I did, man, it's one of the best feelings in the world. Like I love that little girl. So yeah, I was trying to be a dad, trying to play all kinds of, I was trying to wear, 3 different hats. I was trying to appease Jalen, that Aaliyah's mom, the baby mama. I was trying to appease my girlfriend at the time, right? Because Brandy and I, that's my ex-girlfriend, we were dating when she got pregnant.
That's a rough situation to be in, huh?
Hats off to Brandy. She's a phenomenal woman.
Yeah.
Jalen got pregnant the week before I met Brandy. The way the timeline matches up. I met Brandy in late February of 2020. I think 2023. Sorry. Yeah, 2023. And Jalen was pregnant the first week of February in 2023. So there was always that friction there, right? Anyways, fast forward, so I don't get off track. I was trying to wear too many different hats, way too many different hats. I was trying to be a boyfriend to Brandy. I was trying to be a dad, and I was trying to, keep Jalen happy so she didn't take me to court and, extrapolate child support. And you know what I'm trying to say. I was having my cake and eating it too. And I shouldn't have been doing that. And that's what cost me. During this exchange, there was a lot of power struggles, from 1 minute to the next, because she knew I had my girlfriend. She knew I was dating Brandy. She's like, oh, you can't see Aaliyah anymore. You can't see her. And she would not allow me to see her. And then that's what prompted me to hire an attorney. Well, once I hired the attorney, they served her the paperwork. She eased up a little bit. We eventually agreed to joint legal and physical custody in July. Well, the attorney was supposed to file certain paperwork. Never filed it. Never did it. So we were sitting in limbo that whole time. I just had an attorney for shits and gigs at that point. Like he didn't do anything. He didn't file any paperwork, nothing. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I have joint legal and physical custody. We agreed to it in mediation. The judge was like, well, I can't make this into orders until the judgment of parentage is on track, right? That's the proper paperwork, the judgment of parentage, FL 250, all that good stuff. Because in the court's eyes, we were just here for paternity. Now you guys are agreeing to joint legal and physical custody. You guys did a paternity test, but we don't have the paperwork for it. The court didn't have the paperwork. So a situation happened in November where, Jalen was at work when she was supposed to be watching Aaliyah. I'm like, I showed up to her work. I'm like, where's my daughter? She's with my parents, and I made one of the biggest mistakes in my life so far. I drove down to the house and I demanded them to give me my daughter, and they didn't want to. And one thing led to another. I ended up shattering my window to my vehicle, lost my temper, like absolutely lost my temper. And next thing you know, I'm sitting in court 14 days later for a restraining order that's filed. Yeah. So restraining order gets granted in 2025 of June. And now I'm on supervised visitation. No custody whatsoever. And it would have all been avoided if the judgment of parentage, that paperwork was filed. There was a parentage agreement before the restraining order was filed, because then it wouldn't have been meshed in. Child support and child custody was all improperly funneled through a DVRO, which is a restraining order, which isn't the right track in California. There should be paternity, judgment of parentage, and then if for whatever reason, if there's a restraining order, then there's precautions that are taken between both parents, but it doesn't affect custody. Unfortunately, since there was no paperwork behind it, they had to stick to the status quo. They had to pick the safest rail guards, the safest measures. And I got slapped with supervised visitation, which is, I'm doing it right now until the ruling comes in, because we actually went back to court in November, and the ruling's been sitting for 60 days. So it went really well. Realistically, I'll have joint legal, joint physical with additional days, no supervised visits, because there was never any danger to the child. I never put my hands on Jalen, never put my hands on my daughter. It was all over coercive control, which is like intimidation, text messages, like abort the baby, like stuff that I should not have been saying. Like, it was extremely inappropriate, and I regret it to this day, man, because it's cost me a lot of time with my daughter. And again, that's where, this business comes in, and hopefully I can help guide, parents and, dad. Well, all my customers are moms. I have not yet to have one dad. So
isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. Yeah. So all my customers, all 6 of them are all women. So I'm hoping that I can, shine some light on family law, because judges have tons of discretion, man. It's not black and white. There's a lot of gray.
Yeah.
Especially in family law. And that's where I'm hoping that I can fill in that gap for these parents. But yeah, that's essentially what happened, and that's the situation.
Were you ever able to reconcile and figure out what was going on with the attorney?
No, he just didn't file the paperwork.
Really?
Just didn't file the paperwork. Just did not file the paperwork. Didn't file the paperwork. Neither of them did. They both, like, her counsel, she ended up hiring an attorney after she filed the restraining order. After the restraining order was granted in June of 2025, the judge ordered a judgment of parentage, because there's no judgment of parentage, and custody and visitation can't live under a restraining order indefinitely. That's just not the right track.
Yeah.
So he ordered him to get the judgment of parentage squared away. Dude didn't even file the judgment of parentage. So everything's just been funneled under a DVRO. So when I went back to court, I was able to attack that weapon, use it part of my case, part of my motion, like, hey, this isn't the right track. This is not how things should be ran. This is, et cetera, et cetera. It was all part of my motion. And, so if the judge doesn't change anything, then it becomes Pacheco versus the Superior Court of California. That's how serious it is. Like, there's been tons of cases, Keith R. versus Superior Court, that have overturned the situation that I'm in. So, yeah, I mean, again, I put myself here. I wish I would have done things differently, but, you're young, full of anger.
Yeah.
Full of anger. That was my problem, though, dude. I was trying to control the situation.
But you can't.
You can't, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my problem. I'm the dad. What I say goes. We're not going to do it this way. Blah, 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 blah. And fucking stupid, because I put it in writing. So when you see it, when you hear them reading it back, and you're just like, fuck, I said that. Why would I say that? You're just like, shit. So coercive control and intimidation is what the restraining order was based off of. And it sucks, because it just kind of slapped a label onto me. And I'm already a big dude. and I'm already kind of pissed. I already walk around pissed off most of the time. So it just adds to that stereotype, and it crushes me, dude, because what people don't see is I cry every single day. Every single day. There's not a day that goes by where I don't cry. And I'm not mad. I'm just upset that I put my daughter in this situation.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me the most is Aaliyah is the one that's affected, not me. You know, she's the one that can't see her dad every single day as much as she likes. She only gets to see me twice a week under supervised visitation for now. Hope it's going to change here in the next few weeks, few months, hopefully a few weeks, not a few months. But yeah, no, it's brutal, man. It's brutal.
And that's kind of one of those aspects about being a man. I feel like we're so brutally judged for every next move rather than what we really are, like below the surface.
Yeah.
And like I've known you for as long as I can remember, and you've always been like this kind-hearted, like big teddy bear.
Yeah.
But we're only judged as men off of what we do the next minute, and then the minute after that, and then the next hour. You know, and it forces us to really grow and like mature either fast, or we just don't do it at all and we end up making mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest with you, Robert, I contemplated just giving up, walking away, saying, you know what?
That ain't you.
No, it's not.
I know your history and I know your past.
I wanted to, though.
Yeah.
A part of me deep down was like, why am I even doing this? Why am I fighting? Why am I showing up to court? Why am I showing up to visitation? Why am I doing this? And yeah, it was heavy before that restraining order was granted. Before it was granted, those 6 months, I didn't see her at all. So from the time that she, November 2024 till June 2025, I didn't see Aaliyah. I didn't see her take her first steps. I didn't see her. And I did that because I literally had her 70% of the time before that restraining order. 70% of the time. I was always with her. I stayed at the house. I worked from home, watching her, feeding her, putting her to sleep, like full-time dad. Like work was like, I didn't care. Fire me. I didn't care. I was being a dad, and I loved being a dad. I absolutely loved it. It was easy. It was easy. You watch her, you feed her, you play with her.
Yeah.
You know, they're like puppies. It was easy, man. It was really easy being a dad. It was a lane that I could step into, and it just felt extremely natural. And then watching her, and then they look at you and they smile and then they laugh, and like you look at yourself inside of them, and yeah, I fell in love. So those 7 months after that restraining order was granted, I was like, I'm stepping away. I was like, you don't want me in her life? I won't be in her life. And you'll see how much of a help I was. She didn't reach out. Backfired on me.
Yeah.
Backfired on me. I thought she was going to realize,
Nope.
he was actually helpful. He actually watched her. He actually is a good dad. He loves her. He cares about her. Nope. So
women will make you pay.
Oh, I paid. I'm still paying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still paying. Yeah. It's a shitty situation, but I don't blame Jalen. I'm not mad at her. I don't feel anything for that situation. I'm mad at myself that I allowed myself to fall into a situation like this. And now I'm spending, and I know I'll spend the rest of my life trying to reconcile. So I know Aaliyah's gonna have questions, and that's probably the hardest thing, dude. Is like when your kid, your daughter, your boy, your son comes to you, and they're like, "Why don't you talk to mom?" You know, what do you tell her?
Well, sit down. You'll have to figure out a specific age where you're just like, yeah, you're a giant, so you'll be like, all right, here you go. But I think when the time comes, you'll figure it out, and you'll realize like, okay, I think what you have to ask yourself is, if I was in that predicament or in that as a kid like her, what would be the proper time if I can look back and say like, okay, I'm ready for this conversation.
Yeah.
You know,
I write to her, so I've created an email for her, and I write to her all the monitor notes. I don't get into like detail of what happened, but because I write her an email and I write to her and, tell her, the backstory. Obviously, I try to PG-13 as much as I can. But I want her to know when she gets older and she starts asking questions, I'm like, here's your email. Start from the beginning. If you have any questions, I'll answer them for you. And it wasn't necessarily just so I can explain my story in writing, but it's also to narrate her life. So every visit, every monitor visit, every time I see her, I write her an email. I'm like, this is what happened. This is what I saw. I took you to Target and you were just walking in like the Queen of Sheba, like you just owned the damn place. Like you, like arms swinging back and forth, like just head high, like bobbing and weaving, like just like that's you. You're just happy. You're just happy to be around. You stole like a little fruit cup from Target and I had to pay for it. Like you just opened it up and started eating it in the middle of Target. Like it's belonged to you. Like that's your fridge, So hopefully she can look back on that and be like, man, Dad was intentional. Like Dad like watched me. Dad loves me. Dad cared about me. Dad watched every little thing about me. And, that's the biggest thing about fatherhood and being a parent is being intentional. I mean, I'm sure you see this all the time, like parents with their kids. A lot of time you see them on their phones or
letting them just like be on their tablets or.
Not me. Yeah.
Parenting is very intentional. Every day it's kind of like you're molding this little individual into like creating habits that are good for them, and they'll eventually carry on what you're doing, and now you have to be this every single day because if you're not this, they're going to see that and they're going to be like, wow, Daddy's not keeping up with this. Well, maybe this is something normal, and you don't really want that. I'm not a father yet, but
would you want to be?
Of course, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. Really?
Someday.
Yeah.
But right now I just feel like I'm prone to make more mistakes, and I think by the time that I have children, I will always make mistakes, but the mistakes that I'm prone to make now would be too detrimental, and I'm playing it safe.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because I'm really selfish at the moment.
And that's what would make you a great dad.
Yeah, and I think to reach a specific level of success, like you have to be a certain selfish, and I wouldn't regret it. I wouldn't regret having a child or having children. I think I would fall into that role very great. All I've ever wanted to be was a father, but I also want to be a lawyer, and I also want to be a businessman and own businesses and travel the world. And your children eventually leave you when they turn 18 years old and they go to college and
have their own lives.
I don't want to be doing all that when I'm 50 or 40 years old, 60 years old,
Yeah.
I'd rather do it now.
It's not like the clock is running out anytime soon. I
mean, no, of course not.
My dad had me at 35. My mom was 29, 30, and then my dad was 35. God rest his soul. If he was still alive, he would be, 60? He'd be 65 right now, 66. I don't know if my math is right. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not good at math.
Children require all in.
Oh, yeah. You're all in.
Yeah.
All in.
You want to be that dad that takes them to their baseball, their softball practices or football practices. And, I remember when I was little, and I still talk to my mom about this. And I was just like, I remember I would be so mad at her because she wouldn't go to my wrestling tournaments. Yeah. And I would tell her, I would be like, I really wish that you were there a little more when I was younger. And she was like, well, I was working 2 jobs in order to give you what you need. And that kind of broke me as I get older and I still think about it till this day, where I'm just like, now that I'm an adult and I'm working multiple avenues and doing all this other 80-hour work week stuff, I'm just like, I get it.
Yeah. How's your relationship with your mom?
Great. Amazing. Incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I moved back in just recently because I'm trying to buy a house right now.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And it's been the best thing ever, at least for my mother and my grandmother.
Yeah. I'm sure they love you and they would much rather have you around.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But it wasn't always like that. You kind of have to venture out and become an adult before you can, have a proper relationship with them.
Yeah.
And now it's different. We're like best friends, especially me and my grandma.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do want to be a dad someday. I think it's one of the most prestigious titles that I don't want to take for granted.
Oh, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Love being a dad.
I could tell when I would see your stories and stuff like that when you'd post her, Beautiful kid, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I don't think that was from you. No, I'm kidding.
No, definitely wasn't.
But I could see, like, you know, I've always known you as like the untamed giant and beast, and you know, kids will change you.
I honestly love kids though. Teenagers, not so much. I mean, once they get into like 11, 12, 13 years old, I mean, and they kind of fucking suck.
That's why you have to develop them now, like, properly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, right now she's great. She's 2. I mean, she's happy. She runs around. She laughs and giggles and everything's fun. But when she's 13, 14 years old and she's like, Dad, you know, I'm talking to this boy. His name's Jason. You know, like, fuck that guy. Fuck Jason. I don't want Jason here. Fuck him.
You're like, yeah, I get it. I understand. I've had that thought before.
Or, you know, she's 17 years old and she takes my car out and wrecks it. She gets like, what, like, it's just not, you know, it's like when they get to teenagers, they start to really make mistakes, right? Because I did.
But you have to be prepared for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's another role in itself.
And not passiveness either, because I don't want to fall into this. Right now, I feel like I'm very much like, she's 2, let her do whatever she wants. Like, you know, what am I going to do? Be upset with her? She's a toddler. She doesn't get it. She doesn't understand. She doesn't know when I'm upset with her. You know, so I just don't want to turn into this passive dad, right? Where it's just, okay, she knows that whenever she's with Daddy lets me do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I could do whatever I want, I could say whatever I want, and I don't want to raise a brat. You know, I want to have that structure and, you know, be sweet, be kind, be respectful with her and be understanding and forgiving, but also, like, you know, be able to set the tone. It's like, hey, like, I don't want you to be a shithead. I want you to be a good human being and give back to society. Like, I don't want you to do nothing. You know, I want you to give back to society, whether that's teaching or, you know, becoming an attorney or, you know, whatever it is that she wants to do. I just want to raise a good human being because at the end, that's how you're judged, right? Like,
your use, how useful you are in the world.
Yeah, that's how you're judged. So, what you bring to society.
There's a hierarchy, especially
There is a hierarchy.
in life. Like, and I wish I would have known that when I was younger, but we were just so rebellious. We were so rebellious, and all we wanted to do was skateboard or do crazy shit. And we learned that from what we learned at home.
You still skate?
I try. I haven't skated in like 10 years.
Can you believe I was skating with you?
Dude, and you used to like break boards all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were skating together. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was big. I was a big boy.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing any tricks, but I was riding around.
There was a few times you did some tricks.
But I was riding around. I just wanted to be part of the group. I just wanted to be included.
I think you were always going to be included because you're the big dude, and if you really wanted to, you can kick all of our asses.
You had a mouth on you too.
I was crazy. I was the only one that was willing to like fight you and go at you no matter what.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck how big Brandon is. And you're like, this motherfucker's like a statue. He's too strong. I can't get him. I can't do anything to him.
No.
But yeah, those were the days.
Those were the days.
And now you have a kid, and now life is real.
Yeah. Yeah. Life. Yeah. That's you hit it right on the head right there. It's, whatever I say, whatever I do is no longer just affecting me, but it affects Aaliyah. And that's one thing that, you know, I struggled with in the beginning. Now I'm like, okay, everything that I do when I don't want to work and I don't want to jump on my laptop and get things done, that's going to affect Aaliyah.
Yeah.
If you're not making money, you're not taking care of your shit. You're not taking care of your family. So there's a different level of responsibility that comes with having a child. And I feel like it really just brings it out of you, you know, to get up early, go work out, take care of your body, because health becomes another thing that you really want to take care of. Like, I'm heavy. We were talking about this earlier. I'm 350 and you're like, there's no way you're 350. Bro, I'm 350 pounds, and I know it's fine at 29. You got a lot of muscle mass, benching 400 pounds, squatting 600 pounds. Like, that's all fun and games, but I need to get down to like 260, 270 for the long term, for my health and for my heart and, you know, my body. And, So, when Father Time is undefeated and I'm 45 years old, I don't want to be, big, strong, kind of like belly dad, because eventually testosterone comes down and, you're not holding the weight in the right areas like you should be. And
cortisol starts building up, then your cholesterol gets out of whack. Trust me, I have dove into the world of health a lot, which is why I had to lose 45 pounds, 40 pounds.
Yeah, but 200 looked good on you, dude.
No, it didn't.
Well, you're a little chunky, but
dude, I was pretty chunky.
But it looked like you looked full, like it looked like you were enjoying carbs. You weren't disgusting. I wasn't like, oh, Robert's fat.
I was still pulling.
Yeah, I bet.
So there's something to be said about the weight,
it.
like, but I just feel so much. But I work 2 jobs now, right? I work for a law firm, and then I also manage at the airport.
You work for a law firm?
Yeah.
No way. What do you do there?
Healthcare reimbursement, pretty much.
Sweet.
So everything that has to do with insurance companies.
Yeah.
You really see the evilness in insurance companies.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's
and then. But when I did this about 2 years ago, and I was around like 196 at the time. That was the worst time period ever, because you're adding on all this stress to your life, and you're making all this money, and it's supposed to be good, but now you're 40 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
And then you're still trying to work out, but you're like, damn, I need to get bigger and stronger. But that's not what you need to do. And I realized quickly, I was like, dude, I was bench pressing 315 pounds when I was 335, and I was 160, 140.
Yeah, that's insane.
So I was like, I need to get my health in order.
Yeah.
And last January was when I started that whole process, and I was just like, I feel so much better now.
Yeah, you look good.
I look at my face, and I'm like, dude, I didn't know I had a jawline. I didn't know I didn't know I had facial structure, like bone structure. And that picture that I showed you was fucking rough.
Yeah. Yeah, you're around.
Man.
Yeah. But you're still handsome.
Of course. Yeah. But I don't notice it in the moment. But when I was looking at it, I was like, I must have been a really smooth talker.
You are a smooth talker. You got this like cool, I'm too cool aura, like I'm cool. Like, and if you're cool enough to be my cool, then you're cool. But
that's why God did not make me 6 foot tall.
You would have been
I would have been dangerous.
You'd have been you'd have been an absolute demon, dude.
But yeah,
he had to handicap you.
Somebody said, God don't make mistakes, but sometimes he falls asleep.
Yeah.
He definitely fell asleep on me.
Yeah. How tall are you?
5'6".
Yeah, you're short.
Yeah, I'm pretty short. Yeah, I got the height somewhere else. I tell myself that all the time.
No, it just looks bigger.
Life as a short man has been great for me, though.
Has it?
Yeah,
well, it's not a handicap though. It's like
to some it is.
It's not though, man. Like
dude, some of the best times were with the women that were like way taller than me, 5'10", 6 foot tall. I've been with a 6 foot tall. They love that stuff. They're
you got an attitude and aura like you're 6'4".
Yeah, I've been
like you move like you're 6'4".
I move like I'm NBA.
Yeah, you move like you're 6'4", 230.
You have to.
You really do, yeah.
Because it's like. It's a confidence thing, right? Like it's an energy. Everybody sees this around you. Like if you are a short guy, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Like everybody's insecure about it. Or if you're like 6'2" and you're 350 pounds, like some people are just like, man, that's such a handicap. But dude, it all depends on how you speak, and it all depends like on you as a person. Like if you have a swagger to you, it's all women really care about.
Yeah.
And men, like if you're into that, like men really just like confidence.
Yeah.
They don't really like somebody that's going to walk up to them and be a fucking creep.
Yeah. No.
I've never let it be a handicap to me.
No, I don't think it is, man. You look good.
My health is great. Everything's great. And I think that's why it's important.
If I was gay, I'd fuck you.
No, I would never in a million years let you touch me, dude. Dude, I value my Anyways, but back to going to that. I think some of the stuff that we've experienced as kids, and I'm sure your experience is a little bit similar to mine. We had broken homes, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't really get a stepfather until later on, in my years, and I think I was about 8 years old, but I was very rebellious to the idea of that, and I used to always think it was my mom's fault that our dad left and he just didn't care about us, right?
Yeah. So your relationship, you don't have a relationship with your father?
No, not at all.
Never?
Never. I've seen him maybe one time in my entire life that I can remember.
Yeah.
But he's always tried to come back into my life, and I'm just like, I'm good.
Really?
You know, like I'm all right.
You wouldn't want to.
No.
Why?
And maybe I would sit down on the podcast with him, and that would
Shroud him alive.
no, not even that. Because I understand how hard life can be.
That would be a
And
good episode if you can get your dad here.
no, I can't even get my dad to get a job and pay child support. You think I'm gonna get him to jump on a podcast interview?
Yeah.
He hasn't paid child support in forever. No, but I think with all these things that happen to us, like, I think the reason why you do what you do is because you see like your struggles in other people.
Yeah.
And the way you are now, very intelligent, you carry yourself well, you have that bravado about you, and just what they call an aura where you can protect yourself. There's individuals that cannot, and they have not even a fourth of what you carry.
Right.
Is that like your inspiration to kind of just help? I don't want to say like the weak, but the less fortunate in those avenues.
So to answer your question, yes. However, I see a lot of myself in Aaliyah and my daughter.
Mm.
Broken home, parents aren't together. She just kind of got caught in the middle, and I've been exposed to it since I'm, in this whole court process. I see more families that are broken, and to be straight, I don't feel bad for the parents necessarily, because you're an adult and you make your decisions and you make your bed, you lie in it. It's the kids.
Yeah.
It's the children. I love kids, man. I really genuinely do like kids. When I was growing up, I had little cousins. Unfortunately, I don't talk to them anymore because, I had a fallout with my family. And it was around this whole restraining order Aaliyah situation. It's funny how things obviously pan out, but a lot of my family's toxic, man. Like a lot of them are. It's just what it is. A lot of that comes from like Hispanic households, and there's no boundaries. They don't know, like, hey, you don't say certain things because that hurts other people's feelings. Like they don't register. But so I grew up with, my cousins, nieces, and nephews, and I was always the older one. And I think that's where the love of children comes from. I mean, I've always been good with kids. Kids love me. So then when I had one of my own and I fell in love with her, I just wanted to protect her, and I wanted to protect, children who are caught up in this system. Mm. So the parents, I want to help guide them through the situation. I definitely feel for some fathers and definitely some moms where, because I have all my customers are moms. I definitely feel for them, man. Yeah, I feel like they're caught in a situation where, things could be better, and it's, the situation is what it is, and there's nobody really looking out for them. So, and I feel like I got to fill in that role to help them and, guide them. And so, I do it for the kids, though, man. I love kids. Kids are cool. Kids are hella cool.
It's such a weird thing that it's never going to end, right? But I feel like this dynamic between man and woman, it's like you're in love at first, everything's gung-ho, honeymoon stage. You guys are so, I'm going to be with this person forever.
Yeah.
And you guys are willing to work through anything at the time.
No.
But then once a child is involved, all of a sudden that becomes like your worst enemy, like your spouse, or like the person that is divorcing you, or whatever the case may be. And I've always found it so unfortunate where two people cannot come to the table and work something out when the child is born. But when the child wasn't born, you're willing to do anything for that person.
Ego.
It's so crazy.
It's ego.
And your ego will drive you to places that, are just not good.
No. Yeah. Once there's a child involved, you see yourself in the child. So you try to implement your morals, your values, and a lot of times you don't have those conversations with your significant other beforehand. A lot of people don't. You're happy. You don't want to have difficult conversations, and you clash and you butt heads, you know. And a lot of times, some people just can't wrap their head around the fact that all your attention goes to this child. I don't know. What do you think? Like, how do you think that affects relationships when there's a child, two people are married, they love each other, and then they have a child, and then they realize a few years later, it's like, oh, maybe we don't love each other that much. And like, where does that? How does the?
I think it's a dynamic struggle. Like I think it tends to happen more often in relationships where women let the man lead, and when the man ends up ruining that like connection that they both had, the woman can't seem to let that go.
Yeah.
So the closest thing direct to a man's heart is their child, and that's the only way you're ever gonna hurt a man.
Yeah.
You could cheat on him, and he don't really give a fuck. It
Yeah.
might be like, man, you know, fuck that girl, you know, she
Yeah.
cheated on me, whatever. But he's gonna move on eventually.
Yeah.
A woman knows your deepest areas of where to hit you
Yeah.
hardest, and
Well,
fair play to them. You know, it's a skill that we don't have.
Yeah.
We think that cheating on a woman is the most detrimental thing to them, but
Yeah.
in all reality, it's giving your heart away to somebody else.
Yeah.
And women are willing to weaponize that at the tail end of it because they've let men get away with so many things.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I feel on both parties like, okay, in some ways, like you kind of, because if you look at it from a standpoint of a guy who was just really good to a woman, and the woman was really good to a man, but it just didn't work out, 9 times out of 10, that divorce process is, okay, I need to financially benefit from it somehow, and we can work out a 50-50 custody thing.
Yeah.
But it's always the relationships where one was given the power dynamic, like the authority over the relationship, and they ruined it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Because
exactly
the
what you mean.
person who had the authority and power, like that one who was under them, is kind of always just planning their escape
Yeah.
if they're unhappy,
Yeah.
you know?
Or to flip the power dynamic.
Mhm. And to
completely.
flip the power dynamic. And
Yeah.
the only way to do that is to use their kid against them.
Isn't that sad?
It's very sad.
Because it doesn't even. Who who it hurts the most?
The kid.
Yeah.
The child. Because then they develop an unhealthy relationship with both women and men.
Yep.
Because I want to see my father. Oh, no, your father's a very bad person.
Yeah.
Oh, but when you're with daddy, oh, dad, why does this happen? Oh, because your mom is, you know, a very bad person.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what do you do as a child when you're growing up and you're developing and your brain is starting to want to learn things and get more curious? You kind of, and you're figuring it out on your own. You're like, how do I really move from this? And the child's so confused and they start to make mistakes that they shouldn't have to.
Yeah. You know, I'm hoping that I can shelter Aaliyah from the nonsense as much as I possibly can. For as long as I possibly can.
I don't think you should.
Really?
And I mean it from a way of, I don't think you should shelter her from what has already happened between you and mom. I think you should educate on what can actually happen between two people.
Yeah.
Rather than, I'm not a parent, right? But if I had to put myself in that situation, I would say, like, I can educate you on this situation and how it's 100% possible for two people to fall out of love with each other.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to educate you on what not to do in certain situations in your own life.
We were never in love.
I understand that, but you don't want to tell them that. But
I never loved your mother.
but do you get what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but how do you like that? I would be lying.
You're not lying. You're sheltering them from the idea that you're lying if you're sheltering them from everything that's happened.
Right.
Right? Because if you're sheltering everything, you're not telling them that I never loved your mother. You're just completely shutting them off from the idea that anything bad has happened between. It's just, okay, well, this is just how it is. Like, you're going to understand where you get older. I think you need to start younger. Like, me and mommy didn't work out, but we are still very good friends. We just had some disagreements with each other.
Communication styles
You
are
know,
different.
Mom likes to talk this way. I like to talk that way.
Mm-hmm.
But we were able to come together and make it work for you.
Yeah.
That way, your daughter develops this way of thinking where like, oh, okay, man and woman can come together.
Yeah.
And then when they hear their friends talking about men ain't shit,
Yeah.
no, because I've seen my father
Yeah.
be the shit. Like I've seen
Yeah.
my father come to the table and put his pride to the side and say, hey,
Yeah.
I can work this out with my mom.
Yeah.
And I've seen my mom do vice versa.
Yeah.
That's where they can choose their friends and they can be like, I don't really want to be friends with this girl. She's too ghetto and all she says is men ain't shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to be with this guy because, he's nothing like my dad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like they develop their own way of thinking. I think that's the way to go about it.
Yeah. No, that's a valid point. Yeah, it's a learning process. I don't know. I don't know how I think about it. Like, how am I going to attack the situation? How am I going to navigate the space where questions start to come? And, her mom and I have to show up to school together. And, because right now I can't even look at her, you just can't even look at her. Can't do it.
And I understand.
So.
But I think eventually you'll reach this level of maturity where you can say, at the end of the day, even though we made a child, everybody has their own individual lives and their own way of thinking. If we never got pregnant together, like if I never implanted my seed with this individual, she still would have went on and had another life and, eventually had a baby with somebody else, whatever the case may be. I think at some point you're going to have to put your pride to the side and say, I can't take this personally because this individual is still a human being at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And just because they don't reach a level of maturity that I have in this moment, that doesn't mean that they won't. Even though I can't stand some people in my life and some women, I still would like to keep this, like...
I hope. I honestly, Robert, I hope. I remember Brandy and I, my ex-girlfriend, were sitting at the kitchen table. I was like 4 whiskeys deep. And I was crying. Like, I just got done with dinner. I was tearing up. And I'm like, part of me still hopes that we can come together for Aaliyah. I hope that we can just come together, figure this out. We don't need to be best friends, but we need to learn how to play nice. Because if not, it's not us that's going to be affected. It's going to be her. So I hope, man. I really do. Deep down, I really hope that we can come around, But the way it's looking, it's going to be a long time. It's going to be some time. It's going to be some years.
And that's okay.
Years of healing.
Yeah.
Years of therapy.
It doesn't have to.
I hope not.
It doesn't have to be.
No.
I think just in your situation, you have to let go of wanting control.
Yeah, that's a good read.
Because I think when you're such a dominator in life and like you like to conquer, like a lot of men do, it's either or. We're either in control or we're willing to absolutely let our entire lives shatter if we don't have control over it.
Yeah.
It's like I either have control or I'm willing to die about it.
Yeah.
That's good if it's just you.
Yeah.
But when you have another child involved and that's like your successor, like that's the person that's going to carry your legacy.
Yeah.
It's deeper than just you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more. And I think for you, it's like, okay, I think I'm okay with letting go of control because I have to give it to somebody else at some point.
I can't believe it's been an hour already.
Yeah, it flies.
Wow.
Yeah, it flies by. So we have 10 minutes.
Nice.
Let's see. You gave me a list of I think we covered a lot of it.
Yeah. You want to change subject? I'm down.
I think I just want to ask you something more personal.
Yeah.
Rather than from this one. What do you think it means? What do you think the meaning of being a man is? Like, give me just what you think on the top of your head.
It's a good question.
Don't think too hard. Just say what's on your mind.
Being intentional. Move with purpose. You don't need to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Values. Stand by them. Bend, but don't break.
Yeah.
Show up, even when shit's hard. When it's difficult. When it's easier not to show up.
Mm-hmm.
That means to the gym, to work, for your family, for your kids, your responsibilities. That's what being a man's all about.
Yeah.
It's just having responsibilities and knowing that people are relying on you. Whether that's, your mother, your dad, if you have them, your kids, family members, friends. There are people who rely on you. You got to show up. You got to be intentional with what you do. That's what I believe is being a man. It's not loud.
Yeah.
Being a man isn't like this, fucking man. It's quiet. It's boring. It's not exciting.
It's not. It's deep.
It's not exciting.
Very emotional in a quiet way.
A lot of emotion. And being able to understand those emotions, allowing yourself to feel them, not be overwhelmed by them. I think that's a real key thing that I've struggled with is my control over my emotions. And that adds a little bit of layer to it. Being able to control your emotions is a big thing. What I believe to be not only human, but a man.
Yeah.
Being able to control yourself when the time calls to be angry, but you step back and you think to yourself internally, like, hey, why is Robert mad? Why am I angry? Or why, and being able to control those emotions when you're having these one-on-one conversations or when you feel triggered or when you're out in the street and, you want to knock somebody's teeth out. Happens a lot.
I'm sure it's happened to you a lot.
Yeah, it happens a lot. And you kind of got to take a step back and you're just like,
you've got so much more to lose.
Got a lot to lose.
Yeah.
And it's not attractive when a man loses his composure and his cool. It's just not a good look, especially at our age at 29. It's okay at 18, 19 years old and you pound on your chest and you're like, I'm a man because I can fight and beat people up. That's not being a man. Being a man is choosing restraint.
That's great. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks. I have to think about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't know. I just.
That was great though. Like I actually liked that response rather than, what I thought you were gonna say.
What did you think I was gonna say?
I thought you were just gonna say like being a man is like, I don't know, being macho or something.
Really?
Having bravado. But obviously, clearly, I don't know you. You're different. I know Brandon.
Yeah. Locker room Brandon.
Yeah. I know locker room Brandon. I know.
I'm behaving myself. I told myself that if I came on here, I shouldn't.
I know.
I shouldn't be fully unhinged, even though I most definitely can be.
I know. Don't bend over in the locker room, in the wrestling room, Brandon.
I will put my.
Okay. Let's go. I have one last question.
Yeah.
So, your daughter's 17 years old. Picture this scenario. She comes to you, and only you, and she says that a man broke her heart. What advice would you give her?
She's crying.
She's crying and said that, all the other bad stuff that usually happens with a teenage girl.
Yeah.
That usually sack of shit teenage boys do.
Man. I think first things first is, allow her to feel what she's feeling, obviously. And then if she allowed me to give her advice, because I think you have to walk a fine line, right? I don't want to, it's hard, man. Having your first breakup or having a heartbreak as a 17-year-old girl, and like you're thinking you're going to marry this guy and you love him. And I've been there, man. I've been on the other end of it, and I was a piece of shit as a 17-year-old, liar, cheater, come from a broken home, don't know how to respect and love a woman. Like, I know what that's like. And if I had to face the fact that my daughter was on the other receiving end of that, I don't know if there would be a lot of words that I could say that would make her feel any better. But I'm hoping that the one takeaway would be that the most important thing in your life, Aaliyah, is that you love and you respect yourself and you're true to your values. That's all I could really say to her. I mean, the other part of me is like, I want to kill that guy. I'm gonna fuck him up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive to his house and we're gonna do some bad things. I'm not telling anybody, but
then his dad's gonna pay for it too.
Yeah, his dad's gonna pay for it if his dad's around, which is probably not. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. That's a tough place to be, especially knowing that other side of it, where it's like, that 17-year-old kid realistically came from a bad home.
Yeah.
He doesn't have parents that, instilled good values onto him, or he hasn't figured it out yet, which is fair because you've been there, I've been there, but having a daughter, I worry about it.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm going to have to atone for my sins. And I know it's coming. I know it's going to happen. And I look at Aaliyah and I'm like, you are gorgeous. You're going to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young lady. And I'm just hoping that I can provide her the right tools to be able to sniff out the bullshit before it even fucking happens. But that's where the control, we were talking about it earlier, you have to learn how to just not feel like you need to be in control of everything, right? Because that's my biggest problem. I feel like I just need to shelter her, control all the, X, Y, and Z and all the equations and scenarios when you can't. Yeah. You just do your best to try to, instill good values into them so they can sniff out, okay, the guy who fucking skateboards and wrestles and has tattoos at 16 years old, maybe you wait till he gets a little bit older, and he is able to, understand his emotions and heal himself. Maybe that's somebody you can date in the future. But at 16, 17 years old, where there's raging hormones going on and you're not making the best decisions because this part of your brain's not fully developed, maybe, babe, like, maybe you don't date him. Maybe just hold off. Maybe focus on school.
Yeah.
Getting into college, because I've been there. I was that guy. I was the football player, skateboarded, tattoos. Like that was me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a good dude. Took me a long time to figure that out. So maybe your dad knows what the fuck he's talking about and stay away from that shit. Maybe.
I think he does.
I don't know. Right?
Yeah. Well,
so
this is an excellent answer.
Thanks, dude.
And I want to, before we end it off here, I want to really thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure to see you after so many years.
Yeah.
I think, I really find joy out of talking to people from our past that are, doing well. And for those that aren't, I hope that they can find it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you're doing well as well.
Thanks, Robert. I'm glad you're doing well.
It means a lot for you to come onto, my podcast and platform, and
I support what you're doing. I love it. You're taking a step that I wish I could have taken a long time ago, because doing this it's amazing. You get to sit here, you get to talk to people, you get to shoot the shit, and you get to learn a lot about yourself. Yeah. That's the thing that I think people don't, when you come on to a podcast like this, and yeah, it's all fun and games. We're trying to shoot the shit with each other, but I see that you're really trying to have like real conversations.
Yeah.
You're not here to, talk about nonsense. You're really trying to get in depth, trying to get to understand the person across from you, and maybe you can learn something about yourself in the process, which I honestly think it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm really honored to be. I'm about to sue for you, dude.
I know, and I came.
I was like, yo.
I came underdressed, but
No, you
yeah.
look good.
We'll end it there.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, let me see your watch actually. How much does this cost you?
$3,000.
Oh, Movado, I have a
Yeah,
few of these.
I bought it when I got my first sale at Sunrun, and I didn't have any money at the time. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go buy a watch, and I bought it. I financed it, and then I made payments on it so I could build my credit.
It's good.
And then after that, I was like, I don't want to buy another watch again until, like, you know, I can afford it. Can afford it until I can. At the time, I couldn't afford it. I just bought. I didn't even have my first paycheck yet, dude. And I was like, I'm gonna go buy this watch because I sold solar to this little old lady who probably didn't need it, and I made $2,000.
Ended up dying 5 months later.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, all good.
Okay, bro.
Yeah.
You guys good?
Yeah. What'd you think?
It was good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.